in our midst, the team that came to talk to the academics of Anambra State. Like I told you before their arrival, this program was actually planned to be a midday interaction where Chukwuma, the YPP candidate for Anambra State governorship election, will have an interaction with academics of the institutions of Anambra State, selected. Here in this hall, we have staff from Anambra University, from Chukwuma University, from the Federal Polytechnic Oko, from the Federal College of Education Technical Umunze, from the Nwafo Rizu College of Education in Sube, Anambra State Polytechnic in Mbako. I saw somebody from Tansian University, and some other institutions that are all here waiting to listen to our guests. And let me please introduce very quickly. Before us here, ladies and gentlemen, is someone whom I may not be able to properly introduce. And I'm saying this because there are quite a lot of dimensions to introducing the man that is seated with us today. I will invite someone to do that so that it can be properly done. Okay. But let me quickly and briefly introduce to us the candidate for YPP in the coming governorship election in Anambra State, somebody who is very close to the university system, being close in the sense, as I'm sure is going to explain, has been able to pass through the university at various stages, earning various and varying degrees from different institutions, and also not only studying within the university system, but is also a visitor of a university, one already functioning outside the country, and one, of course, in a larger dimension that is coming up in Anambra State coming very quickly. Gentlemen and ladies, please join me in welcoming Sir Paul Chukwuma.
With utmost humility and respect, I would like to start this interaction with an apology. Apology in the sense, I understand this engagement was supposed to start a couple of hours ago. And it's obvious that we are starting late. But with your kind permission, I would like to let you into why this event is starting a bit late. You know, Anambra State has got 21 local governments. That is what is known to the law. That is what we have in our books. But it's rather unfortunate and sad that a good number of local governments in Anambra State seems to have been alienated when you talk about governance in Anambra State. I come from Anambra East, the Omabara area. And there's another local government in that conclave called Ayamelomo local government. Distinguished scholars, ladies and gentlemen, it might interest you to note that in the last 2-3 years, since the inception of this administration, Ayamelomo has been cut off from the rest of Anambra State because it's no longer possible to access Ayamelomo from the road we are used to. We had to go for an intervention. As we speak, we've started a palliative operation in Ayamelomo axis, just to make sure that our people will have that feeling of being part of the state. So as we visited the location, we got to that location, and then unfortunately it was not possible for our vehicle. We got trapped on our way. We got trapped on our way out. We spent 5 hours from Otuocha to Ayamelomo. So it's a third-party liability, but it has caused our lateness to this event. I hope my apology is well received. My dear friends, Afambo Paul Chukwuma, by the grace of God, we all have the privilege of having this interaction with the next governor of Anambra State. In this hall this afternoon, we have the best that our academic environment can offer. To a very large extent, the look and shape of teachers in every community, in every state, in every environment speaks volume about the values While some part of Anambra is broken, a good part of Anambra is in coma. To raise some of those issues, so that we can look at them as a community, so we can look at them as a people. By the special grace of God, I also stand before you this morning because I'm also part of you. And I know that if we get it right from this hall, we'll also get it right in our various communities. Because we've got opinion molders right in this hall. Number one, why is Paul Chukwuma contesting for election? You know, somebody once cracked a joke that somebody is interested in somebody's seat, admiring the seat. I don't know if you came across that joke. Members of the fourth did you come across that joke? That somebody came to visit him and was admiring his seat. And he told the person, hey, my friend, no, it's not yet your turn. You have to wait. By the way, you are still young. You heard that? Yeah, that might be correct, but with some gaps. Gap number one, the chap that showed up, that was referred to as admiring the seat, was actually not admiring the seat. He was looking at the position of the seat because he has already built one seat that he will use to replace that seat. Because sitting on that seat will mean that the ills that has been bedeviling us as a people will continue. I am in this race to rescue Anambra. The question therefore is how? What am I bringing to the table? What is wrong with the system we have? For you to fix a system, for you to fix a vehicle, you must first of all identify the problem with the vehicle. If there's no problem, problems. Problem number one. So let's take it this way. We identify the problem, we interrogate it, then Paul Chukwuma will say what is wrong with that system, and then what he will do differently. Am I communicating? So let's take it one step at a time. Problem number one. Insecurity. Do we agree, both in the Anambra known at this hall and the residents in Anambra, that insecurity is a problem in Anambra today? Are we together on that? Yes. So let's interrogate it. If we have agreed that insecurity is the problem, and why? You know, when you hear insecurity and you've not been unfortunate of having it traced down to your domain, you will not appreciate what we are talking about. Every blessed day as we speak in this hall in Anambra State, people are being kidnapped, people are being maimed, people are being killed. And the government that has the responsibility of ensuring the safety of lives and property in Anambra State is looking away, while innocent Anambra people, indigenes, are being killed, are being kidnapped and extorted of their hard-earned money. And in some extreme cases, you will part with that money and then you end up taking the dead body of your loved ones If your luck is not protected, you end up not finding the dead body of your loved ones. These are the issues we are dealing in Anambra State. And the last time I checked, some people were saying that we have a sitting government in Anambra State. And I ask, what is their responsibility? What duty do they owe to the people of Anambra State? Why are we having insecurity? We are having insecurity because we have a government that has refused to apply the resources meant for security in solving security. Anambra State every month gets 4 billion naira as security votes. 4 billion naira as security votes. This is not money that is meant to pay salary. This is not money that is meant to build roads. This is not money that is meant to pay pensions. This is specifically funds earmarked for security. Every month, 4 billion. The police have not received anything since the inception of this government. The military has not received anything. The civil defense, the Department of State Security, even the local vigilante. Now the question is, where, and then I must tell you, my dear friends, let nobody blame the federal government. No. You know, they go to Abuja, they say one thing. They come to Anambra, they say a different thing. The federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, has been quite consistent in making sure that he sends across the funds we need to deal with security in Anambra State. And even the funds we need to deal with ecological issues that have been dealing with us. Where are those funds? The federal government has been channeling all manner of funds in infrastructure in Anambra State, such that most of the projects being done by federal government, the state is claiming ownership. What a shame. So that's why we're having insecurity. The government has just decided to look away. They don't care. The governor is busy adding all manner of vehicles to his convoy because he's an emperor. That's why we're having insecurity problems. But enough of the problem. Anambra should relax. Insecurity will be a thing of the past in the next couple of months. The question is how? You don't solve insecurity by talking. You solve insecurity with a very empirically verifiable security plan. But Chukwuma is out to do it. And how do I intend to do it? Number one, before my inauguration as the governor of Anambra State, I will put together a committee across the 180-something communities we have in Anambra State. Security subcommittee. And we must liaise, because this government is a government, the current government we have in Anambra State is a government that has no business with rule of law. And that's why state militia are already taking over the statutory responsibility of statutory security agencies. Under my watch, we are going to set up a committee across every community, security committee, that will liaise with the statutory security agencies. Whether we like it or not, we are not a banana republic. We must play by the rules, and we must be governed by rule of law. This security community under Chukwuma's watch, we do a couple of things. First, we need to do security mapping across our communities and identify the issues and the tasks that we are up and against. across our communities. And then we will make sure that as federal government sends this security vote, we will apply those security votes in solving our security challenges. This government has received more than 200 billion to deal with security. What are they doing with it? Just to deal with security. A shame of a state. I will not stop at that. I will primarily deal with the remote cause of insecurity. If you move around Anambra State today, you will find out that more than 90% of our houses cannot be identified. And we have the biggest problem as far as government administration is concerned in Anambra State. And what is that problem? Government has been far removed from the people. It is now a business of Isoko Ibo. Even though I know we are in Asu Hall, if I'm not mistaken, inside the Citadel of Lenin. Anambra State is not only for Ndejala Aukwo. Anambra State is for Nandi Gula Aukwo, Manda Gula Aukwo. And we cannot take away government. Mezie ya no even the professors. With due respect to my friends who are professors here. Anambra State have wrong the professors. Anambra State, but Anambra inwe. We are happy. We are excited to be blessed with the number of professors who are blessed in Anambra State. But we cannot sacrifice the development of Anambra State at the altar of elitism. No. Wanyinaya Kalana village is as equal a stakeholder as a professor in the university. So, the biggest problem is that the local government administration has been hijacked by the emperor who is in charge of the state. Part of the reason why I'm contesting for governorship of Anambra State is to open the emperor's pocket and release the 21 local government and give them right. Remember, we are talking about security, and I will demonstrate to you today how the problem we are facing with local government administration is part of the problem of insecurity. Everything you do in Anambra State, and indeed anywhere, is local. The reason why we are having, part of the reason, I'm going to give you some of them, and as lecturers and teachers, I will also give you some assignment to go and also figure out whether I'm correct or I'm wrong. No, if you look at Oka South, or any other local government for that matter, you find out that more than 90% of the homes, the houses, physical structure you see, have not been properly identified in government database. We don't even have government database at the local government level. And what is government database? Every local government is supposed to, under my watch, must build a proper database. Paul Chukwuma, as the governor of Anambra State, will be able to tell you, this house in this particular village belongs to this Okeke, and the Okafor is the one living in it. So that in every local government, you know who your neighbor is. Onye nwuno, onye binimia. Obukodi na una aja ka alolo, anyi yemi identify. anyị enwe street number, anyị enwe street name. And the street name anyị abụrụ nke onye si ebe o si pụta anya mara ebe o si weta ego oje na local government Golu Street mba. Our street name will get us to a level where we go back. Who are those traditional role models? Kedu onye nkuzi ya na-akụzi nkuzi in every location, also from one village or the other place, or nkuzi ya enwere any sport. All the that I had used half of our street. Kedu that community organizer who did not go to school, but is a man of integrity. Onwere ego, man obodo niile can testify to his integrity. Onda yenye afafa as street names. The moment we are done with that, we create 3 regional control centers. Unu mana anyị nọ na age of technology, my dear friends. If I brought the age a na-asọ okwu n'isi, for goodness sake, this is 2025. Every major street, every location na Bani under the local government administration, yama if a na-akpọ na-enwelu CCTV camera. Iyo nwe mpụ na-eme na aghụghọ, because if I chọrọ abụrụ ka mgbe ndị ori ji wee buru mmadụ agbakiri Anambra, we want to stop. We want to deal with the root cause and come up with preventive measures. Onye ori mmadụ na ọ gafee ebe a kịta na ya ejide ya, ọ ya aga. That is what my government will do. We prevent crime. So everything in a man, God forbid. Enu guy eje we chowa traka una amakwa. Ka ọgasị na Paul Chukwuma kwuchara ife niile. Enugwu kunu eje chọ traka. Enugwu biko ife la na-emekwa ndị mmadụ. Anyị ama nchezi ka ọ bụrụ sọsọ ife traka. Of course, we are going to invest resources. Now, modern technology that will help us to combat crime and deal with insecurity. But beyond that, telephone na anu wa na akpalikwa. Ndị ori ọkwa na use telephone. Father use telephone. Technology just go so far. Gịnị kpatara na ndị ọcha dị enwezi ụmụ checkpoint a na-enwale ọpa ezigbo ndị ọcha? Because ife sọ gị na-eme ịgbafe red light ọ bụrụkwa ụdị nke a Prọfesọ Jajafa na-agbafe ebe a ịgbafe ezigbo red light maka amara m ife tikọsiri ebe a sị na ama m ife na-eme ebe a afụbọ m ụdị a bifọ o nwere ama tụpụrụ gị ọnụ ị narụ okpe gị ị nweta tiketi agwa gị ego n'ihe akwụ ịkwụsị after 3 days o tinye ego iwu bụ n'ihe akwụ ya. We're going to invest in those technologies. So Anambra na-eweta first of all anyị etigoro ya into use. Onweze nke fọ na ya amalụzie mana nwere nke ya fọ na ego na-eweta ezuru. Onye ọbụla bụ onye omekome bata na agbata obi ụmụnna ya makwa na onye a bụ iru ọfụ. We must invest in community policing with sincerity. Obro nke wayo. Our vigilante must be reformed. Obro kwa ndị na-agba ụmụ nwaanyị kọpa ọtọ. Obro kwa ụdị ndị a. We can't condone such. Not under our watch. So these are the things we are going to do. Above all, I am making sure na anyị enwere waste in terms of human capital development. Onye dị busy na-alụ ọrụ a na-akwụ ezigbo ụgwọ ọ ya ejekwa okwu ịmagbu mmadụ. Tell me, We have researchers here. I'll see the grant. And then what do you go? Can you go to local grant? Can you tell me, as we speak, how many foreign direct investment, particularly Anambra, in the last 3 years? How many foreign portfolio investment, particularly Anambra, in the last 3 years? You cannot give what you don't have. It's an eternal principle of law. No more that non-quad habit. And the governance if you go me. Governance in keep as one if I chop Simuka Mfonanya. Askola you too much in Anambra. Let me shock you as Ndinkuzi and then Aluolo no na Ukwanyi. I want somebody here to stand up and point out for me every state government Lolo teachers quarters. I want somebody to stand up and point out, because everything cannot be politics. Stand up and point one community in Anambra State where this administration built teachers quarters. And then we are supposed to have somebody who belongs to that community. That's number one. Number two, those of us who are under state employment, whether as teacher or as staff, how much is their salary? And let me tell you, when injustice, just listen to me. When injustice is being perpetuated by government, and those that are supposed to be beneficiary of the system believe that they are not being treated well, they will indulge in corruption and commit crime in the name of justice. You think that you are supposed to be paid this much and be given this and giving that, and you are not getting it. You will set the rules aside and help yourself through whatever means, and you'll be doing it in the name of justice. This state belongs to all of us. We will not allow few individuals to destroy it. So our teachers are nowhere. Nowhere. We have some communities in Anambra State that if you go there now, you can't find one single state primary school in Anambra State. Today, 2025. And we have multiple locations where our children, our pupils, are going to where our children are going to school under very inclement environment. And the question is, what are we supposed to be doing? Now, the overall salary and the welfare of our state civil servants, nothing to write home about. As now, minimum wage, wayo. You get what these people. So if you are playing kalo with your workforce. Why are you in government? Under my watch as governor of Anambra State, by the grace of God, I will change the fortune of our teachers. Every community must have teachers' quarters. Every community. Because you don't know the importance. You know, back in the days, these things are built and we take them for granted. You go to university. UNISIC is a different setting. Because it was not meant to, originally, it was not meant a structure that lecturers will have quarters here. But the reason is that lecturers suffer, teachers generally, they suffer. So you find out that when you post somebody to a Benebe, for instance, or both family, they may not even have adequate accommodation to rent because you are telling them you are on your own. And these are teachers that are supposed to be in school corporis to enable them teach our pupil. Why are we now surprised that under this administration our ranking has fallen to 30, almost 35? Anambra State. Anambra. I will prioritize the welfare of our teachers because the essence of making sure that our teachers are comfortable minimally at least is to guarantee the future of our children. My agenda for Anambra State is simple. I did a manifesto and I've kept on looking at it. You know, I've started this journey since 3 years ago. So I didn't just start. So, okay. So I've looked at the key issues affecting us as a people. Electricity. But before that, so I have a simple agenda. I did my manifesto. And I tried to make it as simple as possible. Yet I got 280 pages. I said no. I'm coming to effect change. I can't be like the change I want to put aside. I kept it by the side. I came up with a 3-point agenda, which I call the HIS. H-I-S. Human capital development, infrastructure, and security. That's what I want to concentrate on. Let's take them. We analyze them. And after analyzing them, I want just one person. I don't want 2 or 3. After analyzing this, my agenda, and telling you how we will achieve what we'll achieve, I will sit down, and then you people will tell me why people will not tell federal government to change this circle so that they can swear me in today as governor of Anambra State. Number 1, human capital development indices in Anambra State is at the lowest level. And what do we mean? Everything is not about infrastructure. Infrastructure. Opamadi you use infrastructure. Onya you use infrastructure. I don't want mad. I'll give you one typical example. You cannot dispense with capacity in Waro. All capacity in Waro you dispense with. We are familiar with the regular universities, the former universities, University of Nigeria, In Anambra State, we have Anambra University. We have Anambra State University. Right? Federal Polytechnic and all the rest of them. But I've analyzed these things and then I came up with something that is very important and revolutionary. There are other strong universities that we don't pay attention to because we are not interested in developmental economics. I mentioned some of them for you to take note of so that you can also start paying attention to those universities. Number one, let's limit ourselves to Anambra State. We have the University of Nkwonewi. We have the University of Main Market. We have the University of Oso Okwodo. We have the University of Ekoto. We have the University of Obogu. I forced Professor John strike the other time. You know, Professor Judge, I not also found my case just strike and a case at Mayfair University. The biggest problem in Anambra was that we have neglected these universities. And then, let me tell you the problem. The problem is that when students graduate from Anambra State University, for instance, some of them may stay at home for 5 years, 10 years. The same parents that paid their tuition fees will be taking care of their bills for additional 10 years, if you're unlucky, forever. But if you go to University of Nkwonewi and you do, and it's a senior course, I've had them for 4 years. You must study for 7 years. And you graduate after 7 years. Now, University of Nkwonewi. From that day, you graduate, you have started picking pills. You go to the village, you follow phone, you go to and you start training that one. Which one adds to our economy? Again, the quality of what we do, the quality of what we produce in this formal university, the type of Prof. Nonia is becoming increasingly questionable. Is also increasingly out of tune with reality. Ask me why and how. You go to the university, you study a course, all these pre-colonial courses that have no foundation in our reality, because you just want to be a graduate, and you come out and I say, "Chelo, again, the video masters another terrible course." Before I say Jack Robinson, PhD. All these years of wasting parents and guidance money, zero skill, zero. We are in a modern environment where skill must trump paper certificates. As governor of Anambra State, I will pay attention to skill. Skill. If a jalo na akwụkwọ university, abroad for onye ọbụla to go there. University is more or less like a research center. It is even better than a university to solve a problem than industry. Industry and young world. Industry. Even in our universities, and that is why you will have a professor who will spend 5 years, 10 years before delivering his inaugural. Some of them will sign out without delivering inaugural. It shows there's a problem, fundamental problem. So we need to change our mindset. And government has a role to play in doing so. As governor of Anambra State, I will pay more attention to these other universities that we have not taken seriously. Who are those students in those universities? Umazi Nagba boy. Umazi Nagba boy. Ina yana ifo na di Nagba boy na Anambra na President Mpe. No, this is a C. Boy. What is the reason? The reason is simply because government has refused to pay attention to this segment that has added so much, that has given us so much social and economic capital. As governor of Anambra State, I will set up an agency that will see to the activities of these universities and the activities of Umuboy and Dogafa. How? We need to know what trade are they interested in? How can government put an enabling environment that will help them as they are finishing those trades, they will be able to be gainfully employed as entrepreneurs. They don't need much. How can government support them with a little? So we have decided that we will set up an agency of government that will be for this with a takeoff capital of 200 billion. This money will be counterpart funding because those guys, once they are supported, they will generate that money and pay back, and their business will stand, and our economy will grow. As governor of Anambra State, I will pay attention. Unumana thinking that this governance is not rocket science. They are making it sound as if it's a big deal. It's not. If you have managed a private business successfully, you have the right credential to aspire to be governor. If you have not, forget it. The biggest problem we have in Anambra today is that we are landlocked. And that's why our people are rushing to Lagos and other cities where they will be positioned very close to the harbor, very close to the seaport. I've told every community in Anambra State, including those places where we are having huge insecurity. I've visited those places. And in the course of my tour, I discovered that we have a possibility, very clear possibility, of changing the narrative in Anambra State. If you go to Ihiala, for some of us who are from around Ihiala here, there's a place called Ose Akwa. The intervening space or distance between Ose Akwa and the high sea is about 8 nautical miles. As governor of Anambra State, I will dredge and create a big channel between this point and the high sea, and I will build a seaport in Ose Akwa. The moment we have a seaport in Ose Akwa, our story changes. And to do this, I need to liaise with the federal government. Oh, you want to address me? We live in nobody. I can't see you represent the money. We don't know how federal government works. And the current president is a man I know very well. We will liaise with the federal government. If you go to somebody, it depends on what you ask. All the time you go, you ask for personal things. The man will say you are not serious. If you go, you are asking for something that will make your state, that will position your state, he will take you seriously. I will collaborate with federal government and ensure that Nanyi will see port in Anambra State. When I discovered this, I did not stop. I now said, okay, what would be the next challenge? The moment we have support, then we have made it easier for our people to begin to build industries. And all manner of innovation hubs will start springing up. But there's another challenge: electricity. Anambra every day, yeah? Okay, you cannot develop without power, without electricity. I visited Professor Barton Naji, Naba, 3 years ago. You know, it's one thing to be ready for office. It's another thing to be making politics. So, governor, can make politics. That is the problem we are having. Those in charge of Anambra State, they are still doing politics. Even when election was over, they are doing politics. I went to Aba, and I had a tour, walking tour of the facility. Professor Fatim Naji, excellent guy. He did so much. And in the course of my interrogation, I realized that we can do this in Anambra State. But on the second thought, realizing also that the world has moved beyond where we are, I decided to visit one of the fastest developing economies, specifically to find out how they are dealing with their issues of power and electricity, how they are using alternative energy solutions. I went to China. I spent some weeks in China. I came back. I went again. And I've realized, and it's clear to me now, that as governor of Anambra State, within the first 2 years of becoming the governor of Anambra State, Anambra will have uninterrupted light. Because we're going to create 3 rigs. 3 rigs, and we're going to leverage a lot in renewable energy. So that we have 3 mini grids. The existing national grid will be secondary or tertiary. We build these fresh grids, one in the south, one in the central, one in the north. As we are doing this, we have already earmarked where 3 industrial parks we are going to build. There is no reason why we should not have what we have in central, in south, in the north. Our development as in Anambra under my watch will be evenly distributed across the local governments. Onye bụ governor for Anambra State, not for one local government. So we intend to do 3 mini grids to guarantee power. Ndị be anyị chọrọ ịkwụ ụgwọ ọkụ, ife a na-ekwu bụ ka anyị fụ dị ọkụ. And the initial investment we make as government is enough, because as people pay, because we do it in such a way that you don't have choice. Nke abụrụ nke a na-eme ekopụ ọkụ eko ịgwọ ọkụ mba. Ịkwụsị ụgwọ ọkụ anya ọbịa gị simple, nwere ada ejeli ogologo oyibo. Mbuze na-egbu ndị be anyị every day. And this government is not doing anything. I am also aware ecological funds from Abuja, from the federal government, has been channeled yet on what if I for. The problem is not with the federal government. The problem is with the state government, with Anambra State government. I am contesting this election to fix that problem. So ecology is a big problem. But the biggest part of it, the sad news, is that this current administration is part of our problem in ecology. Even in the Ebuasili, who's everywhere. God the government creates in Anambra. So, and they are creating a problem for me. That's my problem. Even in Anambra, can they create it? Problem. No, Mbazekita can no watch with even that. So we're going to fix These are the things we are going to fix. The problem is not in building roads. The problem is in building quality infrastructure. And that leads me to the infrastructure component of my agenda. I will not do roads, all these rural roads. No. I'm not that type of governor. Are you listening? No. If I start doing those small roads, what will local government do? We will allow local government to have their independence and be able to do what they are supposed to do for the people. Our business is to ensure that the right thing is done. Because when you start meddling with local government funds, that is where the problem lies. Everybody is coming to Abuja. We don't need the ELCA to be congested. We want the people to be able to go to local government. The small contractors will be able to bid for something and get it and do it, and they are happy. We need to put money in the pocket of people. I went to Ekulobia. From Ekulobia to, by the way, I was thinking Nandagwata na Nenwanwole. Alo mekwalo. I went to Agwata local government and I realized that they have more problem than even my local government. First of all, the thriving community called Ekulobia is gone. As we speak. I don't know why. The beehive of activity around the roundabout, all those gone. And then they started a flyover to nowhere. And I was wondering where the flyover was, where they were flying to. I had to come down to check, and the thing just... You started a 2-lane. And then in the middle of it, you say you are doing a flyover. And if you look at the advert they are doing on the social media and the television every day. By the way, that is taxpayers' money wasting. Doing adverts, confusing people on fallacy. What they are showing is different from what you have on ground. Because there is no flyover means that you fly and fly to somewhere now. They are not flying anywhere. And that's a big challenge. But that's not the problem. The problem is that the number of shops, thriving shops and businesses that were demolished in the course of doing this charade. I was told that a number of them, about 10 persons died. Then what have we achieved as a state? Now, you are deepening the erosion system in that ecosystem. So there's a lot of deceit, and we need to strengthen it out. So as governor of Anambra State, I will keep it simple, and I'll be able to communicate to Anambra clearly on the programs of government. I will not be a Jonyagwanam. I will have a listening ear. Because our biggest problem today is that nobody can advise anybody anymore. And then with due respect to the revered professors here, some of us may not be professors, but by the special grace of God, we've come a very long way. And it might also interest you to note, I hear people, with all manner of TikTok shows, talking about certificates and the degree of certificates. By the way, I hope you still remember that I'm a graduate of University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I mean University of Nigeria. I graduated with first class honors. My first degree was in philosophy. I graduated with a first. University insisted that I must teach. I said no. I've got a personal program. So I left for my youth service. And when I applied some years back after to do my postgraduate, they insisted that I must do something in the department. Of course, I accepted. But because I was working on a legal philosopher, a Jewish legal philosopher, it became necessary that I need to go back and understand the foundation of jurisprudence. Again, I decided to go back to school for a second degree. And I studied law. Again, I graduated with first class in law. And that tickled my fancy. Because I remember back in the days, as a student, Nansuka, one of my lecturers, who happens to be from Anambra State, by the way, Professor F.U. Okafo, he later became the provost of Nsugbe College, and then later the vice chancellor of Odumegwu Ojukwu. He was my lecturer at the time, not yet a professor at the time. So they were trying to convince me to take up the lecturer job so that I can join them, because they were doing evening program law at the time. They were lecturers and they would lecture at Enugu campus, and then in the evening they would change and then go to class as students. So eventually when I came back, I went back, I studied law, and after studying law, I realized as an aspect of law that I needed to interrogate further. I went to England for my postgraduate, and I specialized in intellectual property law. Again, in England, I graduated with distinction. So you can see, I don't need first class. But that is not why I'm contesting for governor of Anambra State. Because first class, without Akonuche, I am not contesting for governor of Anambra State because I'm an all-rounder first class material. No. Which is why I'm paying attention to Ndagora, but they are adding value to our society. Otherwise, how can you explain what people like innocent Chukwuma is doing? Amaram Mojel Unisik, ko Harvard, Amaram Kojel. So when I forgot to know a senior alumni couple. But it's not as easy as that. The interesting thing is that there's no professor of auto mechanics or auto engineering, automobile engineering. Yes, the man go. He said, "Go back in our lab, yeah, or span a megalo." Because if I know practical, it's just your Igbo, no moto, tosaki tosie. So, my dear friends, today, the incumbent governor of Anambra State has been taking paid advertisement on social media, traditional electronic media space, to talk about what they call zoning. You've heard about it. Poverty, onwelu zone. Insecurity, onwelu zone. Unemployment, onwelu zone. As we speak today, the sitting governor is from Anambra South. And the headquarters of insecurity in Anambra State is Anambra South. What a contradiction. You know, at this level, I presume, validly so, that given the level of intellectual liberation we have in this room, that people should not be deceived by primordial sentiments of zoning. Anambra is in trouble. Anambra is facing litany of challenges. We cannot continue to pretend that all is well and hide under the political strategy of zoning. We will put it to test in this election. Anambra must be free. People are tired of stories, and people want sincerity. People want government that will communicate with all sincerity to them.